What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the TrueRC Blaze antenna. This is a new antenna from TrueRC. It's got a really bright LED in the tip of the antenna. I believe this is, I don't know if it's a different antenna than their new clear ones. TrueRC's got a new design like this without the LEDs. I believe it's the same antenna as that, but this one just has an LED in it. But yeah, they're super bright. Conrad already did a video on this, or on one of them, showing you, but I wanted to do my own since I got since I got one. I wanted to show you guys. I got a bad antenna from right here. Actually, I already had one for this build that I planned on using, and it had an issue with the LED in it. And I reached out to Pyrodrone, and they gave me credit for it right away. And then Hugo, the owner of TrueRC, actually hit me up and like troubleshooted the issue with me. He was a super cool dude, and yeah, you just can't get that level of customer service from you know, from a big box store corporation or whatever you want to say. I was extremely impressed with you know, the way he handled it. Reached out to me and, you know, it was like, not a problem, we're going to take care of you. It was really cool. So I just want to give a shout out to TrueRC. They're definitely top-notch quality antennas, and the owner is an awesome dude as well too. So definitely a good company. But anyways, yeah, I figured we would check this out, and I'd show you guys how to install it, and yeah, throw it together. This build too, I took the top plate off. This build has loom skids on it. I don't know if you guys have seen these before, but they're from the FPV Crate guys. They come in a package like this. You can buy just the plastic skids if you want, or they have LEDs in them. That's an extra set I have. These things light up super bright with the throttle of the motor. So like as you get on the throttle, they get super bright. So I've got the green loom skids plus the green antenna. I figure this thing will look pretty sweet. But yeah, let's check it out. So it's the Blaze antenna. Like I said, I believe it is the exact same as his newer version, or the TrueRC's newer version. But it just has an LED in it. It comes with a single wire that you just solder to a 5-volt rail. So comes with a resistor, I believe it's called, and a piece of heat shrink. So this resistor, I believe it's called a resistor, I don't know. I guess the polarity doesn't matter, so it doesn't matter which end you solder it up to, but it comes with, sorry if it's not focusing very well, it comes with this little tip here that if you wanted to, you could solder this to your 5-volt rail, and that way if you ever needed to you know, take off the antenna or work on it or whatever, you could just you know, slide this piece off and on. And so yeah, you cut it to length, but I'll show you guys how to solder it up and get it going. Again, this doesn't matter. And the ground of the antenna is, or the ground for the LED is built into the whatever your SMA connector. That's what gives it ground. So you get power for your LED from the green wire going to a 5-volt rail, and then through this transistor to the green wire here, and then you get ground from screwing into the antenna. So we'll go ahead and get this set up, and it comes with a little piece of heat shrink to go over the resistor, capacitor, whatever you call this thing. So I've already got my 5-volt rail. Zoom in a bit here. Let's make it a little brighter. Sorry about that. I've already got my 5-volt rail tinned up and ready to go, because I was, like I said, I had problems with this antenna. The antenna still worked fine. It just had an issue with the ground, I believe, with the LED. But yeah, they sent me another one right away, and the owner of TrueRC reached out to me and helped me out, which I thought was super cool. So anyways, we are going to get this soldered up. I'm not going to, let's see here. I'm not going to use this little pin thing. I'm just going to use a piece of wire. So let's grab an extra scrap piece of wire here. I don't look like I have my cutters handy either, do I? Let's grab a little piece of red wire. Where are some cutters? Excuse me one second. Alright, found some cutters that'll work. A little big overkill, but that's okay. So, first thing we're going to do, I'll zoom back out a little bit so you can see a little better what I'm doing here. So we've already got the 5-volt rail tinned. This is a pretty big piece of wire. Let me see if I got a smaller one. Yep, there's a smaller one. I saved little scrap pieces of wire for things just like this. Or I guess you could actually use the, you don't even need scrap wire, you could just use the extra length of this, because it does not need to be that long at all. I think that's probably what I'll do actually. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit. I'll leave that connector on there too, because it's kind of nice just in case you need to pull it off. Does it slide further down? I guess that's as far as it slides. I don't want to mess up this resistor. I'm already bending it. We're not going to use that though. We're going to cut it off. Shouldn't cut over your board, but I just did. So trim down your resistor thing to about yay big, or however big you want it. Let's see here. And I need about that long. We're just going to run it right there. Give myself some slack. Yep, that should be plenty good. Sorry if I'm blocking my hand, so I cut about half the wire off. And then we're going to move the quad out of the way. Get some blue tack here to solder on. Strip the end of the wire. Go ahead and tin that up. Good to go. We'll tin our capacitor. This little metal stuff, or resistor, whatever you call this, this little resistor stuff is, or whatever the metal is, it's hard to solder on. It's like, same thing as soldering a capacitor. Geez, I'm shaking a lot. What's going on? See if I can get some solder to stick to that. Yeah, it looks like I got a decent amount there. Did I get some on there? Yeah, enough. Make sure you slide your piece of heat shrink over that so you don't accidentally forget it. Or I guess you could, doesn't matter, you can slide it over the whole thing. We'll stick that there. Actually, I'm just going to hold this. Put some fresh solder on the tip. There we go, that don't look too bad. It's just a little LED too, doesn't gotta be perfect, I guess, right? Alright, so we take our extra piece of wire here. I should have tinned that as well too. We'll put that on there. See if we can tin that as well. This metal is hard to yeah, I have a hard time getting solder to stick to the to whatever you call the resistors. Same thing with like capacitors. If you want to get freaking solder on a capacitor lead. There we go. You don't need much. Move that off. This is probably pretty basic and boring for most of you. Most of you guys know how to solder, but I figured I would just do a full video of putting this together. Just if anyone was curious about it or wasn't sure themselves. So boom, that's done. Just soldered up on both ends. Take your heat shrink, put it over it. Oh, mine's almost, yeah, that's bad on my part. I didn't cut it short enough on the capacitor, so I'm going to grab an extra piece of heat shrink. Actually, that'll work. Nope, I want it to be fully covered. I'm a weirdo like that. So grabbing some heat shrink out of the heat shrink stash. These are super good to have if these little kits, you can get them on frickin' Amazon for a couple bucks. Super nice and handy to have. So that's way too long, so we're going to cut it to fit. So roughly right about there. Does that look about right now? Sure, that's great. Alright, we'll slide that over. Put it on there like that. Grab our heat gun. Make sure it's covering it properly. Or all the way, not properly, I guess, but just want to make sure that the connectors are covered. Took a little longer to shrink up. Maybe I got the crappy heat sink or heat shrink. But boom, there we go. So now we're just gonna cut it to size and solder it to the 5-volt rail. So I'm gonna put it on here. Just set it there for a second. I guess I could screw it on, but yeah, we'll just screw it on now. You don't need to make it as long as I did too. I made it a little extra longer than need be. That way I can, what's going on here? Why am I having a hard time screwing this on? There we go. I made it a little extra long so I could, you know, when I take the quad off or take the back off or something like that, I can not have an issue. So we're gonna run it just like that. So I'm gonna cut right about there. Again, you shouldn't cut over your boards. That's bad habits of mine. Or if you do, you should make sure you use an air can afterwards and blow it off. So I'm just going to put that wire right there for a second. You still see what I'm doing, and tin that up. Sorry if you hear my dogs in the background going crazy. Alright, so I got a little way too much solder on that, but yeah, we're going to take a little bit of that off. Just touch it with the tip of the soldering iron. Hopefully it'll stick. There we go. Got it off. This is a 20 by 20 board, so you don't need... you can't have any extra solder or it's... it'll stick to... Which one's the 5-volt rail again? The one on the right. Got it. Clean my tip off. Fresh solder. There we go. Might use a set of tweezers. Yeah. Let's see. I don't use tweezers too often, but boom. Good to go. All right. So again, resistor gets its ground from the antenna itself, and you just put it to a 5-volt rail. And I'm going to basically just tuck my extra wire down in there, and then have that sit right like that next to my receiver. Boom. Looks like it was made to be. It's pretty nice and flush, sitting there good. So let's test it. So last time I did this with the antenna, that's what was bad with the antenna. The LED wasn't working, so now we got an LED in. Let's plug in a battery. Antenna's on. Make sure it's tight. Should light right up. Boom! Look at that, dude. See how bright that is? I've got 2 massive lights here, too, for studio lights or whatever. That's so sick. Check that out, dude. That's brighter than heck, man. Right on. I will, I'm going to put the frickin' top back on. And the loom skid, I want to show you the loom skids with the TrueRC blaze antenna lit up together. So I'll put it back together, plug in a pack here, and then kill all the lights in my basement, and just with the props off, obviously I'll turn the quad on and rev it up, because the loom skids, they light up, but they get brighter with throttle. So yeah, when you're really on it, they get bright as heck. So, but yeah, I'll put it back together and show you what it looks like. Alright, so I turned off most of my lights. I don't know how good my camera's going to pick this up. This thing is brighter than heck, though. That's just the LED on the antenna. Sorry if you can see my messy room tour. I'm just doing this on the floor. And the loom skids don't activate until you arm. Now you can see them there. Betaflight's wigging out. So I'll put it out so you can see it a little bit better. Sorry about the audio too, I'm moving around the mic. So that's the loom skids armed. That thing looks awesome, dude. You can see Betaflight trying to wig out as I'm holding it, though. Props are off, obviously. But yeah, that is super cool. Anyways, thanks for checking out the video, guys. That is the TrueRC Blaze 5.8 gigahertz antenna. Link will be in the description to check it out. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.